What's happening, everybody? Jay Shockblast here, and okay, so it seems I've stirred up a little bit of a hornet's nest with my opinions on Thor, but you know, hey, what can I do? I've cooled off a little bit, but we're not here to talk about Thor. We're here to talk about this man right in front of us. And no, I'm not talking about the man in the red, white, and blue. I am talking about the man in the background, Sam Wilson, aka the Falcon. And that's not the Falcon we all kind of know and love. That is the Captain America Winter Soldier version of Falcon. Hey man, so apparently Marvel was not done screwing around with us, and in their infinite wisdom, they have decided to go ahead and kind of mess around with literally every character under the sun, because coming soon to a comic book page near you, we have the all-new Captain America. That is right. The all-new Captain America will be Sam Wilson, the Falcon. And, you know, hey, what can you do? Marvel thinks it's a good idea to kind of reboot all their franchises, and not really reboot, but, you know, get a fresh start with all these characters. And I don't know. I just don't know why they're doing it, you know? Like, I just don't get it. I don't really think it's... I don't get the point of it, you know? I mean, I get that you feel like the characters need a refresh and all that, and hey, I mean, I'm all for... I don't actually have as big a problem with this as I did, you know, with Thor being this female. You know, that was actually a much bigger deal to me than this. Than, you know, Sam Wilson being the new Captain America. I actually, you know, Captain America has been established as a mantle, you know, and that was my argument with Thor. You know, Thor is not a mantle. Thor is a person. So that is why I don't think Thor can be a girl, because Thor is a person. You know, Thor is a dude. Thor is an actual person. That's his name. And, you know, nobody else can be Thor, you know. You can possess the power of Thor, but you are not Thor. And that's again, my biggest complaint. And this video is not about Thor, so I really need to stop it. But the difference is, you know, other people have been Captain America. You know, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, you know, he has been Captain America. I mean, hell, the Punisher has been Captain America. You know, Steve Rogers is not... I mean, he is who we all kind of know and love as Captain America, but he doesn't have to be Captain America. That's not who defines him. You know, he's been Steve Rogers, director of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know, he's given up Captain America before. And that's fine. I don't actually hate that, believe it or not, you know. I'm not going to rage nearly as hard about Captain America being Sam Wilson as I did with the Thor situation, because I just don't think they're the same, you know. You know, same with Miss Marvel, you know, and Captain Marvel. You know, Captain Marvel, I understand that, you know, Marvel was Captain Marvel, but, you know, that's not, like, the end of the world to me either, you know. Like, I feel like those are titles, you know. You know, Hawkeye can be Kate Bishop, can be Bullseye, you know, because that's just a costume, you know. It's not Clint Barton isn't, you know, Kate Bishop didn't become Clint Barton, you know. Sam Wilson is not becoming Steve Rogers. So if that was the case, you know, I'd probably feel a little bit different. But it's not, you know. These characters still have their identity. You know, they are who they are. So, you know, in that regard, I'm not, like, totally, you know, pissed about it. I can actually somewhat accept, you know, this is, you know, what they're doing and whatever. I just don't agree with the whole point, you know. Like, I just don't think it's something they have to do. And that, again, is my biggest issue. You know, there's going to be an all-new Iron Man where, you know, fortunately it's not somebody else in the suit. It's still going to be Tony Stark. But, you know, I just... I don't get it. Why do we have to go through this? Like, what do they really have to gain, you know? Yes, you'll be able to be progressive. You can have a female Thor, and you can have a female or a black Captain America, you know? Yeah, we're not racist. Yeah, we're forward thinking. You know, I get all that, and I can appreciate all that, and that's why I'm not like totally hating this. I know that there are a lot of you out there that are really mad that it's not Bucky, that it's not Winter Soldier, but that's been done before, so I don't really think that would nearly be as profound as, you know, having Sam Wilson be Captain America is. The whole point of having him be Captain America is because, you know, we've got a black Captain America. You know, the face of... Ooh, shoot, I'm gonna die. The face of, you know, the USA, essentially. That is what Captain America has always been. And now it's going to be a black man. And I can support that, you know? I mean, I'm not... I know I've said things before about, you know, hating it when they do stuff like that, where they kind of use race to kind of, you know, seem progressive and all that. You know, like making Nick Fury the black version of Nick Fury, or more egregiously Kingpin, you know, being Michael Clark Duncan, or especially, you know, Johnny Storm in the new Fantastic Four movie. You know, that one really annoys the shit out of me. You know, like, I hate it when they try to do that, you know, to fit race in, you know, to like say, hey, we have a black character in this movie, you know, and try to, you know, and it's not just black, you know, the black people or anything like that. It's just as much, you know, any other race, you know, but black characters seem to always be the ones that they try to like fit in, you know. I mean, I guess, you know, like Heimdall, you know, like they made him a black character. It's just, I don't like it because it really just brings more attention to the fact that, hey, we're doing things for race. And that's always my biggest issue, is that, you know, you're bringing more attention to it than you necessarily are saying. I don't know, I guess it kind of has a little bit of the reverse effect. But, you know, hey, man, I can back Sam Wilson. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know everything there is to know about the Falcon. You know, he was portrayed very well in the Winter Soldier movie, you know, so I'll definitely give him that. You know, that part I don't have like a huge issue with. I thought he was you know, he came across as a very strong character. As far as the comics, again, just not a character that I've really followed intensely. So it'll be interesting to see how they pull it off. And what they do with Steve Rogers. What, like, is he just fading to the background? I mean, I know he's old. You know, I know these characters don't age because, you know, we're constantly, you know, living in the moment. But, you know, that's kind of the beauty of it being a comic book, you know? Like, they don't have to age. It's not real, you know? So, I'd love to know what you guys think. I mean, Sam makes as much sense as anybody to be the new Captain America, just because he has been with Captain America for so long. I'd love to know what you think of his costume having the wings on it. You know, so it's still kind of like, hey, I'm the Falcon, but I'm Captain America too. So that's interesting. I guess we'll have to kind of wait to see how it goes. There's going to be like an all-new Avengers, too. It's going to have Medusa and Angela. So we know that Angela is not going to be Thor. So that's kind of dumb. But, you know, so it's going to be somebody completely random. Hopefully an Asgardian and not a human. That would be ridiculous if it's a human. Who else? You know, Doctor Strange is going to be in it. You know, it looks like Psylocke is going to be, not Psylocke, what's the cyborg guy, shoot, why can't I think of, I don't have the power of Googling right now, shoot, why can't I think of his name, the half cyborg person, Deathlock, there we go, Deathlock is going to be in it, Medusa, which, you know, she's part of the Inhumans, and they had her in that stupid Fantastic Four comic when they sent the Fantastic Four to outer space and stuff like that. So, yeah, man, I don't know what they're doing. oh, and of course the all new Iron Man, even though it's still the same Iron Man. I don't really know that that qualifies as all new, you know? Like, I feel like every time they throw all new on something, it's actually a new character. My biggest complaint is and always has been that Marvel just isn't establishing new characters, you know? Like, I would much rather see them spend time emphasizing new characters and getting people to enjoy something different and something new, and not leeching off of existing characters. That's the biggest problem I have with this. You know, I love the fact that they are doing Magneto comics, and they're giving Elektra her own book, and they're giving, you know, yeah, I can't think of all the different. They've just launched, you know, a bunch of new books for a bunch of characters. You know, they're trying to push Moon Knight again. You know, there's a lot of characters that are getting their own books, and I support that fully, because I do agree that these characters do deserve attention, and realistically, we need more characters besides Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, and you know, Wolverine. You know, they're killing Wolverine. I get it. I understand that, you know, you don't want to keep telling the same stories with the same characters over and over again, and that's fine. You want to try to make them more interesting, but do it within the story. Don't, like, change things for the sake of changing things, you know? Like, that's just cheap and lame, and I can't back that, you know? Like, I just really wish there was another way of doing this, and it didn't feel so ridiculous and contrived, and because that's exactly how I feel it is. I just feel like it's lazy, you know? Like, you can take a character and put somebody else in the costume, you know, anytime. Anybody can do that, and there's nothing really all that interesting about it, you know? It's not the same as saying, hey, you know, this is a brand new character that we think you're going to love. Or it doesn't even have to be a brand new character. This is an existing character that you haven't spent enough time with, that we really think is an interesting and intriguing character, and you're going to end up loving this character. So we're going to give them another book, and we really want you to trust us to spend some time, you know, with the character, give them your attention, give them your passion, and we promise you we're going to reward you with a really great story, a really great backstory, and a really just amazing, you know, all-around everything, you know? Like, but they don't do that. I mean, they try to do that some of the times, but they just give up so soon. And in their defense, I don't know if comic book fans really give those characters the time of day that they deserve. And it's a hard world to live in, you know? Shit's expensive, and, you know, there's a lot of options out there, and Marvel isn't necessarily, you know, at the top of the list for people. You know, Image is doing a good job, Dark Horse is doing a good job, you know, DC is doing their job. You know, I don't know if it's good or bad, but, you know, there are so many other options, and there's so many other, you know, creators out there that are putting out quality product. So yeah, Marvel has to compete. Not everybody's going to be able to drop, you know, $50 a week to make sure they have every single title, you know, and that's okay. But I don't know. I just think that there's a better way to do this than to alienate your existing fans. I mean, look, Captain America has been around for, what, 70, 80 years, you know? And Thor has been around since the 60s, you know? And before that, Thor was an actual, you know, Norse myth, you know? There is an outstanding story to Thor. You know, and how long has, you know, Iron Man been around? I mean, these are all established characters that have been around for a long time. Why do you have to run the risk of alienating all these fans that have stuck around these characters, that are the ones that are already giving you money to follow these characters, you know? Why do you have to piss them off or run the risk of pissing them off? I understand doing things that are risky, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't know. Obviously, my main goal is for everything to be interesting. You know, I want these books to be interesting. I want the stories to be interesting. I don't want you to tell me the same story over and over again. But if you stop dropping the ball on the stories that you are telling, you know, maybe people are going to give you more attention. You know, as a Nova fan, I'm still furious about Sam Alexander. You know, and I get Jeff Loeb, and I understand his son died, and it was a long time ago, though, man. Like, if you want to create a character as a tribute, don't take it away from, you know, a character that's already existing. And I know things could change in the new or in, you know, the original Sin story that's coming up in Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, maybe I won't be as mad about the Nova situation anymore. But, you know, for 2 years now, I have been mad. And I have been alienated. And I've downloaded every single Nova comic book there is. I've bought 0, except for issue number 1. Issue number 1 I bought, and I ripped it up into a bunch of 100 pieces in front of everybody on YouTube. Because that's how I feel about Sam Alexander. And I've taken every opportunity that I have to sit here and say, I hate Sam Alexander. I'm tired of Sam Alexander. Bring back Rich Rider. And there are going to be people that are massive Captain America fans that are going to say the same thing. I'm willing to give Sam Alexander a chance because, again, Captain America absolutely 100% is a mantle. That is a character that other people can be, and I don't have a problem with that. Captain America 100% is a costume. You're not telling me that Steve Rogers is now Stephanie Rogers, like that Steve Rogers is a girl, you know? That's not what you're telling me. And I understand that the real Thor is going to be the unworthy Thor and is still going to exist. But you can't call the girl Thor, okay? She has to have another name. She has to have somebody else that she is or was, you know? Like, there's no reason for her to be named Thor. Captain America, again, that's a character that is a costume, okay? You know, he is not necessarily the person under the mask. And that, you know, I get. And I don't love it, but I just don't hate it either, you know? So, it's not the end of the world for me. I'm willing to live with that. I'm willing to see, you know, what happens and all that. You know, the Iron Man thing, I think, is probably going to be the most tolerable out of all the changes that they've made, because all he's really doing is going back to his old, you know, millionaire, playboy, philanthropist self, you know? Which, quite frankly, he never really stopped being. But, so we'll see. And I don't even have a problem with there being an all-new Avengers either, you know? Like, that's fine. The Avengers, the whole point of the Avengers is they switch themselves up, you know? It's not always the same group of people. Oh, Scarlet Witch is in the Avengers, too. So that's a cool thing for me. There's a lot of girls in the new Avengers. You know, and that's cool. I'm okay with that. And that was my whole thing. And I'm so glad that a lot of people that are commenting on my Thor video are picking up on the fact that I don't have a problem with Thor being a girl, or I don't have a problem with a girl wielding Mjolnir. You know, that's not my problem. My problem isn't that, you know, a female is going to have the power of Thor. My problem is that, you know, Thor is going to be a girl. You know, that's my main issue. The actual person Thor is going to be a girl. Essentially, that's what they're telling me. And I know that might sound like semantics, and that's fine. You can totally sit there and argue semantics. But I don't feel like I'm unjustified in feeling the way that I do. You know, I feel like as a massive Thor fan, I have every right to be upset about that. So, we'll see what happens. That's really all we can do. And I just wanted to establish the fact that, because I know people are asking me about it, and it's a completely fair question. You know, I really and truly feel like, you know, Captain America being Sam Wilson is not, it's not as nearly as traumatizing for me as the Thor situation. And I don't think I'm going to make an Iron Man video because, quite frankly, what are they really doing? They're giving him yet another costume, which, whatever. How many costumes does he have, or, you know, suits has he had? So what's the big deal there, you know? It's just another suit, and he's just going back to being a dick, you know? And full of himself. So, whatever. That's been done before, too. My main overall beef is that, you know, changing for the sake of change is not good change. It's doing it for the wrong reasons. You know, if you want to make things fresh, it's okay. I back that. I support that. But don't do it at the alienation of the existing fan base. I feel like we all deserve better than that, and I feel like we're smarter than that, you know? Like, you don't have to make Thor a female to make a statement about having strong, powerful female characters, you know? Like, that's not what you have to do. I just don't back that at all, you know? If you want to establish that, hey, you know, we're progressive, and not only do we have a black Captain America, but, you know, one of our most powerful characters in all of our comics is a woman, and her name is Thor, you know? You don't have to say that to convince us, you know? And I feel like you're insulting the comic book fans by thinking that you have to do that to make us understand and back it, because that's not the case at all. You know, that's not, you know, how we operate. We're smarter than that, you know? Like, we don't need you to do that in order to make us, you know, understand and appreciate diversity, you know, whether it be male, female, race, you know, nationality, any of that stuff, you know? Like, we're all so much smarter and so much better than that. And, you know, the statement that you're making is not... Alright, I mean, a black Captain America, I think, is a little bit different than a female Thor, you know, in that it is a pretty profound statement in a way, you know. It's every bit as profound as having a black president, you know, Barack Obama being the president. There's a lot of symbolism there, and just like there's a lot of symbolism of having a black Captain America, I totally get that. But here's the thing, we all know that they're making Avengers 2 Age of Ultron, and we all know that, you know, by the time the movie is going to roll around, Steve Rogers is going to be back, and, you know, Thor is going to be back to having a penis, and, you know, Iron Man is going to be back to, you know, being Iron Man. You know, all those changes that they're making are all reversible and will all be reversed. So, what are you really saying? Why can't we just make Falcon a stronger character and emphasize him more? Why does he have to be Captain America for us to care? You know? Are you telling me that we can't care about a black character unless he's Captain America? Those are my issues, and that's where I feel like they're doing themselves a disservice, them being Marvel. You know, because you're telling me that in order for me to care about a black character, you need to name him Captain America. Or in order for me to care about a character as powerful and strong as Angela or Lady Sif, or Captain Marvel, you know, she has to be named Thor. That is my biggest complaint. And I know I'm not nearly as fired up this time. I was pretty fired up with the Thor video, probably as pissed off as I've ever been. And, you know, I have taken a little bit of a step back. I have cooled off a little bit. And, you know, but I don't think what I said was unfair. You know, I don't think that any of that is really stuff that Marvel shouldn't hear, you know? And I don't know if they heard it. Maybe somebody did. Maybe somebody didn't. Maybe they laughed at it. Maybe they sit there and call me ignorant, you know? All of you guys don't have to agree with me, you know? That's the beautiful thing about this. I want you guys to all be constructive and have a real passionate opinion. But I am passionate about this stuff. This stuff means something to me. I've invested, you know, thousands of dollars, you know, countless hours into these characters. You know, this game alone, I can't even tell you how much money I've spent on Marvel Heroes. I've probably spent at least $500 on this game, if not more than that, okay? And I do it because I love it. I do it because it's a passion point for me. It's something that really, you know, fills my time and gives me pleasure in life. I don't like being agitated. I don't like it when you take things away from me that I enjoy and tell me, hey, I know you enjoy this, but we're tired of telling that story, so screw you. This is what you're going to get now, and tough shit if you don't like it. You know? Like, I don't want them to be stagnant. I don't want Marvel to sit there and keep spinning their wheels and going in circles. But at the same time, you know, there's a way to do it and a way not to do it. And right now what they're doing is they're saying, hey, we are changing everything for the sake of changing everything. And that's how I feel. And that's the wrong way to do it. You know, don't make all these changes at once. Make them gradual. You know, if you want Sam Wilson to be Captain America, have him be Captain America, but do it naturally through the story. Don't do it because, hey, we want to throw all new in front of all of our books and make all these changes. You know, Like, we want you to experience this new story, because all these characters that you know and love, we're just going to change them all, you know? I get that they're doing Original Sin, and I'm not caught up on issue number 6, I think. Whatever the one that came out this week is. I haven't read that one yet. So I don't really know what's going on as far as that goes as I record this video. But there's got to be a better way to do this that you don't piss off everybody. And I know that there are people that are backing it. There are people that are getting behind it. I know that, you know, some of my friends like DJ Chrome and, you know, Jesse and Keem, you know, my black friends, quote unquote, and they'll laugh at me saying that. But I mean, like, I know that they're pretty excited about this, and that's awesome. And that's the whole point of having the symbolism of a black Captain America. I get that. That's cool. That's why I don't have as big a problem with this. I just don't like the fact that they're doing it. Like, I feel like I mean, Falcon's a logical choice in a lot of ways, but, like, you know, I just feel like they're doing it for the sake of doing it, you know? Let me take that back. I would hate to feel like they're doing it for the sake of doing it. I would hate to think, and I'm sure that they'll have a really good reason for it to be Sam. I can understand that. But I would just hate to think that they're picking Sam because he is black, you know, like they said, you know, let's find a black character and make him Captain America so that we can say we have a black Captain America. Like, I just hate that that's what they could possibly be doing it. I don't put this in the same category as, you know, Kingpin and Heimdall having their races changed, because those were done very specific, or Johnny Storm, you know, the Michael Jordan kid playing him in the new Fantastic Four. Like, those were very specific, conscious decisions to make sure they had a black character in the movie, you know, or a main-ish character that was black so they could check it off their diversity checklist. I don't think that that's why they're doing this, you know, to say, hey, we have a, you know, black character in the Avengers, because, you know, hey, you know, the Sam Wilson Captain America, I believe, is the only, you know, black character in the Avengers, you know? I don't think that it's checking off their diversity checklist at all there, so we'll see, man. I'm not nearly as pissed off about this as I am with Thor. Again, you know, you guys can accuse me of just arguing semantics with Thor, but I don't think I'm unjustified in feeling the way I do, because, you know, there's so many characters, like, you know, I brought it up with, you know, Hawkeye, you know. Kate Bishop didn't become Clint Barton. She became Hawkeye. She put on the costume and assumed the mantle, the role. And, you know, Thor is Thor. That is his name. That is who he is. It's not a title. It's not a costume. It's not anything. It is a person. So, you know, Mjolnir very specifically says, you know, whoever holds this hammer, should he be worthy, shall wield the power of Thor. Now, I'm not going to get caught up in the he that's inscribed on the hammer. I don't care that, you know, whoever wields the hammer is female. I'm all for Thor being unworthy of wielding the hammer and having a female carry it. That's not my problem. My problem is she is not Thor. Her name is not Thor. Her name is something else. Name her something else. Thor is still Thor. He just doesn't have Mjolnir, you know? So, anyway, this video is all over the place. I know it was mostly about Captain America. I know seeing him sit here shrugging his head is probably not very interesting. But, it is what it is. So, let me know what you guys think about Sam Wilson as Captain America. I don't hate it as much as I do the Thor situation. So, you know, hey, this is a really good discussion, you know. I really feel like it's opening things up, and I'm really happy to see that there's been so much response to my Thor video. So let's see what happens, man. I'm willing to be open-minded about this, but you know, in the end, we know that they're all just going to bring it back to normal. So what's the point? So I really, really, really wish Marvel could take the time to create some new and more interesting characters. Or not even, you know, make new ones. Why don't you just take advantage of the awesome ones you already have? You know, they're doing a really good job of making the Guardians of the Galaxy you know, a group of characters that people like, you know, that franchise has been elevated massively. And you can do that with any of your franchises. You know, you can do that with Moon Knight, which you're trying to do. You know, you can do that with Gambit. You can do that, you know, with him running the new X-Force, the all-new X-Force. You know, you can do that with your all-new Ghost Rider, you know? Like another one, Ghost Rider, you know, that there have always been riders. They don't always have to be Johnny Blaze. You know, there have been plenty of other people that have had that. And, you know, other people have had the, you know, have wielded Mjolnir before, you know? Beta Ray Bill and Eric Masterson and, hell, even Loki tricked Deadpool into thinking he was carrying it. We all remember Thorpool, so, you know, there have been other people to be able to pick up and, you know, Captain America. Captain America wielded the power. I'm pretty sure in the crossovers, Superman, you know, had the power of Thor. But Superman wasn't Thor. You know, Steve Rogers' name wasn't Thor. You know, they just had the power. So why are we changing the name of a female person who clearly was somebody else before she picked up the hammer? Why is her name now Thor? Her name needs to be something else. If they name her something else, I can get on board with it. I don't love it, but it could be an interesting story. Captain America being Sam Wilson, we'll see what happens, you know? He's always been a sidekick, but, you know, sidekicks, you know, can become interesting, a.k.a. the Winter Soldier. So, alright guys, I'm done rambling. Let me know what you think, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you later. See ya.